people who criticize you are often the ones doing the least. It's easy for people on the sidelines to judge. It's easy for people who aren't chasing their own dreams to mock those who are. But successful people don't waste time criticizing others. They're too busy building, too busy improving, too busy focusing on their own path. So why waste your energy on the opinions of people who aren't even where you want to be? Why give power to words that add no value to your life? The moment you stop letting opinions affect you, you become untouchable. You no longer shrink yourself to fit someone else's expectations. You no longer waste time trying to explain yourself to people who will never understand you. You move forward with confidence, knowing that your path is yours and yours alone. Another major source of negativity is getting caught up in unnecessary drama. Drama drains your energy, distracts you from your goals, and fills your mind with things that do not serve you. Yet so many people get pulled into it because they feel the need to respond to every little thing. Someone says something negative about them and they immediately feel the urge to defend themselves. Someone creates conflict and they feel the need to engage. But the truth is, you do not have to participate in every argument you are invited to. You do not have to prove yourself to people who have already made up their minds about you. You do not have to lower yourself to match someone else's negativity. When you engage in drama, you are giving your power away. You are allowing someone else to dictate your emotions. You are wasting valuable time that could be spent building your future, working on your goals, and improving your mindset. Every second spent on drama is a second taken away from progress. The people who stay ahead in life are the ones who don't allow themselves to get pulled into distractions. They know that their energy is precious and they protect it at all costs. You have to ask yourself, is this worth my time? Will this matter a year from now? Does this contribute to my growth? If the answer is no, let it go. Walk away. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every situation needs your attention. When you train yourself to detach from unnecessary drama, you gain peace. You gain clarity. You gain the ability to focus on what truly matters. Detachment does not mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to not allow external negativity to control your life. It means you choose where to invest your energy wisely. It means you prioritize peace over proving a point. It means you refuse to be controlled by things that add no value to your life. The strongest people are not the ones who engage in every conflict, but the ones who rise above it. The ones who know that their energy is better spent on things that bring them closer to their goals rather than further away from them. You cannot build a powerful mindset if you are constantly absorbing external negativity. You cannot create a life of success and fulfillment if you are consumed with what others think. The only way to truly be free is to let go of the need for approval, to detach from meaningless distractions, and to focus solely on what elevates you. The moment you stop caring about opinions and drama, you reclaim your power. You step into a version of yourself that is fearless, confident, and completely unshaken by outside noise. And when you reach that level, nothing and no one can stop you. Your mind is the battlefield where every challenge, every obstacle, and every hardship is either won or lost before it even manifests in reality. Most people think their struggles are external, their circumstances, their environment, the people around them. But in truth, the real battle is always internal. Your thoughts shape your emotions. Your emotions dictate your actions, and your actions create your reality. If you do not control your mind will control you. If you allow negativity to take root, it will spread like wildfire, affecting every area of your life. But if you train yourself to think with strength, with resilience, with absolute belief in your ability to overcome anything, then nothing, no setback, no failure, no challenge will be able to break you. Most people do not realize how much power they have over their own minds. They let every negative thought run wild. They let doubt creep in. They allow fear to take hold. They accept the limiting beliefs that were placed upon them by society, by their past experiences, by other people who never believed in them. And because of that, they stay stuck. They never reach their full potential, not because they weren't capable, but because they never mastered their mindset. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It's mental discipline. It's the ability to control your thoughts, to redirect negativity, to train your mind to operate at a higher level. Think about an elite athlete. Their physical strength is impressive, but what truly separates them from the rest is their mental strength. They push past exhaustion when others quit. They stay focused under pressure. They believe in themselves even when the odds are against them. They do not let fear of failure dictate their performance. They have conditioned their minds to be stronger than their emotions, stronger than their doubts, stronger than their circumstances. This is the kind of mental toughness you must develop in every area of your life. When something doesn't go as planned, what is your first reaction? Do you immediately focus on the problem, complain about how unfair it is? Or do you shift your focus to solutions, asking yourself, what can I do about this? Do you let fear and uncertainty paralyze you? Or do you take action despite the fear? Most people fall into negative thinking without even realizing it. They allow setbacks to consume them. They dwell on what went wrong instead of what can be done to fix it. They allow one bad moment to ruin an entire day, one failure to make them give up entirely. But if you can train yourself to shift your perspective, to see challenges as opportunities, to view failures as lessons, to focus on solutions instead of problems, you will start to operate at a different level. Your mind is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it will remain weak. It will default to negativity, to fear, to limitation. But if you exercise it daily, if you feed it with empowering thoughts, if you challenge it to think bigger, if you force it to push past comfort and complacency, it will become stronger. And once your mind is strong, nothing can shake you. No criticism, no failure, no hardship will be able to break you because you have built an unshakable foundation from within. One of the most powerful ways to take control of your mind is through self-talk. The way you speak to yourself determines everything. Most people don't realize how destructive their inner dialogue is. They tell themselves they're not good enough. They focus on their weaknesses instead of their strengths. They repeat limiting beliefs over and over until they become their reality. But successful people speak to themselves with power. They reinforce their strengths. They remind themselves of their resilience. They refuse to allow negativity to take root in their minds. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not capable, that you'll never succeed, that things will never get better, then your mind will accept that as truth. But if you start telling yourself, I am capable, I am strong, I can handle anything, I will find a way, then your mind will believe that too. Most people wait until they feel confident before they take action. But confidence doesn't come first. Action does. You must act your way into confidence. You must move forward even when you don't feel ready. You must push yourself beyond your comfort zone again and again until strength and belief become second nature. When you take control of your mind, you take control of your future. Every thought you think, every belief you reinforce, every perspective you choose, it all adds up. And over time, it determines the course of your life. If you want to become unshakable, you must train yourself daily. You must be conscious of every thought you allow to take root in your mind. You must reject negativity the moment it appears. You must refuse to entertain self-doubt. You must choose to focus on solutions instead of problems. You must remind yourself constantly that no challenge is too big. No setback is final. No failure defines you. Mental strength is not something you are born with. It is something you develop through discipline, through awareness, through consistent effort. The stronger your mind, the stronger you become. And when your mind is unshakable, your success becomes inevitable. Most people go through life reacting without thinking. A negative comment, an unexpected setback, a frustrating situation, these things immediately trigger an emotional response. It happens automatically, almost as if we have no control over it. Someone says something rude and we feel anger. Something doesn't go our way and we feel mistake is made and we feel embarrassment or shame. These reactions happen in an instant, and before we know it, our entire mood has changed. The problem is when we allow our emotions to be controlled by external factors, we give away our power. We become puppets to circumstances, letting them dictate how we feel, how we think, and ultimately how we live. But the truth is, we don't have to react to everything. We don't have to be controlled by emotions. We have the ability to take control, to remain unshaken, and to decide how we respond to anything that happens around us. Think about the most successful and respected individuals in the world. Leaders, entrepreneurs, visionaries. They all have one thing in common. They don't react emotionally to every little thing. They don't allow their feelings to control them. They don't waste energy on things they can't change. And instead, they focus on what they can control. Their actions, their mindset, their response. When something unexpected happens, they pause. They don't react immediately. They assess the situation and they respond with logic, not emotion. This is what separates those who thrive from those who struggle. The ability to control emotions, to remain calm under pressure, and to not let anything or anyone dictate how they feel is what gives them the edge. Now, let's break it down. Why do most people react emotionally? Because they've never trained themselves not to. Since childhood, we are conditioned to react. A child falls and scrapes their knee and they cry. A teenager gets a bad grade and they panic. An adult faces rejection and they immediately feel like a failure. It's an automatic response. But here's what most people don't realize. Emotional reactions are habits, and just like any habit, they can be changed. The first step is awareness. You have to catch yourself in the moment and recognize when you are reacting emotionally. The second step is to pause. Instead of reacting, take a deep breath and give yourself space. This moment of pause is where your power lies. It's in this pause that you shift from being controlled by emotions to being in control of them. Imagine this scenario. You're in a meeting and someone criticizes your idea in front of everyone. The natural reaction is to feel defensive, to argue back, or to shut down. But what if instead you just paused? What if you didn't react? What if you took a moment to breathe, process the comment, and then responded calmly? Instead of looking emotional or reactive, you would appear composed, confident, and in control. You wouldn't give the other person the satisfaction of triggering you. Instead, you would maintain your power. This applies to every area of life. Someone cuts you off in traffic, don't react. Someone makes a rude comment, don't react. You get unexpected bad news, don't react. It doesn't mean you don't feel emotions. It means you choose when and how to express them. You control them instead of them controlling you. The moment you master this, you unlock a level of power that few people ever reach. Because here's the truth. Most people are predictable. They react the same way to the same situations over and over again. But when you break that pattern and stop reacting, you become different. You become untouchable. Now, some people will say, but I can't just ignore my feelings. And you don't ignore them. You observe them. You acknowledge them without letting them control you. You take a step back and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Is this worth my peace? 99% of the time, the answer is no. Most of the things we react to don't deserve our attention. They are temporary, insignificant, and unworthy of our energy. Yet people waste hours, even days, feeling angry, stressed, or frustrated over things that won't even matter a year from now. Think about how much time and energy is lost simply because people don't control their emotions. They let small things ruin their entire day. They dwell on problems instead of focusing on solutions. They let someone else's negativity affect their mindset. But the truth is, no one and nothing should have that kind of power over you. The moment you take control of your emotions, you take back your power. You stop being a puppet to circumstances. You stop being a victim of negativity. You step into a place of strength, clarity, and dominance. One of the most powerful things you can do is to remain calm when everyone else is losing their mind. When everyone around you is stressed, panicked, or overwhelmed, you stand firm. You become the person that others look to for stability. You become the person who can handle pressure without breaking. And that right there is a rare and valuable trait. It makes you stand out. It makes you respected. It makes you someone who commands any room you walk into. The key to all of this is practice. You won't master it overnight, but every time you catch yourself before reacting, every time you pause instead of responding emotionally, you get stronger. You build a muscle of emotional control. And over time, it becomes second nature. You stop being easily triggered. You stop being affected by negativity. You move through life with an unshakable sense of peace and confidence because you understand one of the most powerful truths. The person who controls their emotions controls their life. Everything in life is energy. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every action you take, it's all energy in motion. And the most important thing to understand is that energy flows where focus goes. Whatever you give your attention to, you give power to. Whatever you dwell on, you attract more of. This is why two people can go through the same situation and have completely different experiences. One person sees an obstacle and immediately focuses on the problem. They feel frustrated, stuck, and overwhelmed. The other person sees the same obstacle but focuses on the solution. They feel motivated, determined, and in control. The situation is the same, but their focus creates two completely different realities. Most people don't realize how much control they have over their own energy. They wake up in the morning and immediately start focusing on everything that's wrong. They think about what they don't like, what's stressing them out, what they wish was different. And by doing this, they set the tone for their entire day. They are programming their mind to look for negativity. And as a result, that's all they see. Their energy becomes low, their mood becomes negative, and everything feels like a struggle. But what if they shifted their focus? What if instead of dwelling on problems, they trained themselves to focus on solutions? Instead of replaying negativity, they focused on progress. Instead of thinking about what they lack, they focused on what they can create. The moment you make this shift, everything changes. Your focus is like a magnifying glass. It makes whatever you concentrate on appear bigger. If you focus on stress, stress multiplies. If you focus on gratitude, gratitude multiplies. If you focus on what's wrong, you will see more of what's wrong. If you focus on what's possible, you will see more opportunities. This is not just a mindset shift, it's a scientific principle. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system, RAS, which acts as a filter. It takes in millions of pieces of information every second, but it only allows the things you focus on to reach your conscious mind. If you are always thinking about problems, your brain will filter in more problems. If you are always thinking about success, your brain will filter in more opportunities. This is why two people can walk into the same room and one person sees nothing but obstacles, while the other sees endless possibilities. It all comes down to what they have trained their mind to focus on. Imagine waking up every morning and deliberately choosing your focus. Instead of immediately checking your phone and filling your mind with news, negativity, and distractions, you take control. You spend a few moments focusing on what you're grateful for. You set an intention for the day. You visualize success, progress, and solutions. You tell yourself, today, I will only give my energy to things that empower me. Just by doing this, you change the trajectory of your entire day, because now your brain is looking for things that align with that energy. Instead of dwelling on stress, you are searching for ways to move forward. Instead of focusing on what's missing, you are focusing on what's possible. People often say they want to feel better, but they continue to focus on things that make them feel worse. They say they want success, but they spend hours thinking about what they lack. They say they want happiness, but they replay negative experiences in their minds over and over again. The truth is, you can't attract positive outcomes while focusing on negative thought. It's like trying to drive forward while staring in the rearview mirror. You have to shift your focus if you want to shift your results. Think about a time in your life when you were deeply focused on something positive. Maybe it was a goal you were passionate about. Maybe it was a time when you were so excited about an opportunity that you couldn't stop thinking about it. What happened? You started seeing more opportunities. You started meeting the right people. You started feeling more energized, more motivated, more capable. That wasn't a coincidence. That was focus in action. When your energy is aligned with your vision, the universe responds. Doors open. Things start to flow. But the opposite is also true. When you focus on what's missing, what's wrong, and what's frustrating, you block opportunities. You lower your vibration. You make things harder than they need to be. This is why successful people don't waste time dwelling on negativity. It's not because they never face problems. It's because they understand that focusing on problems only creates more problems. Instead, they train their minds to stay focused on solutions. They don't complain about setbacks, they learn from them. They don't waste energy on things they can't change. They redirect their energy toward what they can control. They don't allow distractions to take them off course. They remain locked in on their vision. It takes discipline to do this. It takes awareness. But once you master your focus, you master your energy. And once you master your energy, you master your results. The best part, you don't need external circumstances to change in order to shift your focus. You don't need more money, more time, or a different situation. You just need to decide right now that you will only give your energy to things that serve you. You will no longer waste time on negativity, drama, or distractions. You will train yourself to see possibilities where others see obstacles. You will develop the habit of focusing on solutions instead of problems. And as you do this, your energy will shift, your results will improve, and your entire life will begin to transform. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much you plan, prepare, or try to control things, challenges will come. Unexpected situations will arise. Problems will appear seemingly out of nowhere. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will change. And in those moments, most people panic. They allow themselves to be consumed by stress, frustration, and anxiety. They lose their composure, react emotionally, and get caught up in the chaos. But the ones who rise above, the ones who remain strong, unshaken, and in control, they're the ones who understand that no matter what is happening on the outside, they have the power to remain calm on the inside. They don't let the storm consume them. They don't let external circumstances dictate their internal state. They become the calm in the chaos, the stillness in the storm, the unshakable force that refuses to be moved by temporary challenges. Imagine standing in the middle of a hurricane. The wind is howling, the rain is pouring, and everything around you is being tossed and turned. But right in the center of it all, there is a space of perfect stillness. That's the eye of the storm. And that's exactly what you must train yourself to become. No matter what happens around you, you must hold your peace. No matter how intense the situation gets, you must remain centered. This doesn't mean you ignore problems or pretend they don't exist. It means you approach them with clarity, focus, and control. Because the moment you lose your calm, you lose your power. The moment you let stress take over, you weaken yourself. And when you are weak, you can't make the right decisions. You can't think clearly, and you can't handle the situation effectively. Most people live their lives reacting. Something goes wrong, and they immediately panic. They allow their emotions to take over, and they start making decisions from a place of fear, stress, or anger. But when you react emotionally, you make mistakes. You say things you don't mean. You do things you regret. You turn a small problem into a big one simply because you weren't thinking clearly. But the ones who remain calm, they don't make those mistakes. They don't let the pressure break them. They pause, assess the situation, and respond with intelligence rather than emotion. They take control rather than letting the situation control them. And because of that, they always come out on top. Think about a pilot flying a plane in the middle of turbulence. The passengers might be panicking, gripping their seats, fearing the worst, but the pilot stays calm. The pilot doesn't panic because they know that reacting emotionally won't solve anything. Instead, they focus on what needs to be done. They rely on their training. They stay composed, and they make the right adjustments to safely navigate through the turbulence. That's exactly how you need to operate in life. You can't afford to be shaken every time things don't go as planned. You can't afford to let stress and fear take over when challenges arise. You must train yourself to remain calm, focused, and in control no matter what. This level of composure doesn't happen overnight. It takes training. It takes awareness. It takes discipline. You must make a conscious effort to control your reactions, to slow down in moments of pressure, and to refuse to let emotions dictate your actions. The next time you are in a stressful situation, instead of reacting immediately, take a deep breath. Pause. Remind yourself that you are in control. Ask yourself, what is the best way to handle this? Instead of focusing on what's wrong, focus on what can be done. Instead of allowing your mind to spiral into negativity, ground yourself in the present moment. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. When you develop this level of calmness, something incredible happens. You start to notice that things don't bother you the way they used to. The things that once triggered you no longer have power over you. The situations that used to overwhelm you now feel manageable. You start moving through life with a sense of inner peace that cannot be disturbed by external events. And what's even more powerful is that others begin to notice. People will start looking to you as the one who keeps it together. When everyone else is losing their minds, you become the person that others trust, respect, and admire because they know that no matter what happens, you won't break. You won't fold. You won't let the chaos shake you. There is a reason why the strongest leaders, the most successful entrepreneurs, and the most influential people in the world all share this ability. They don't let fear, stress, or pressure dictate their actions. They operate from a place of calm, clarity, and control. And because of that, they always find a way forward. They always stay ahead. They always come out stronger. This is the mindset that separates those who struggle from those who succeed. It's not about being lucky. It's not about being born with some special advantage. It's about training yourself to handle pressure differently. It's about choosing to be the calm in the storm rather than being consumed by it. Every time you feel yourself getting stressed, every time you feel pressure building, every time life tests you, you have a choice. You can react like most people, panic, emotional, and overwhelmed, or you can take control. You can remind yourself that no matter what is happening, you are stronger than the situation. You can choose to operate from a place of calm, knowing that this moment is temporary, but your ability to stay composed is what will determine the outcome. You must train yourself over and over again to stay in control when things don't go as planned, because when you do, you become unstoppable. One of the biggest sources of negativity in life comes from being too concerned with what other people think. People spend an enormous amount of time and energy worrying about how they are perceived, trying to please everyone, and seeking approval from others. They let opinions, judgments, and outside noise dictate their emotions, decisions, and even their self-worth. The problem with this is that no matter what you do, you will never be able to control what other people think about you. You can try to be perfect, try to make everyone happy, try to fit into every expectation, but someone, somewhere, will always have something negative to say. If you live your life constantly worrying about what others think, you are handing over control of your happiness and peace to people who don't even walk in your shoes. The reality is that people will always talk. Some will criticize you, no matter what you do. Some will misunderstand you. Some will judge you based on their own limited perspectives. And guess what? That has absolutely nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. The way people see you is a reflection of their own mindset, not a reflection of your truth. Some people will love you, some people will dislike you, and some people won't care either way. But the moment you stop worrying about external validation and start focusing on what truly matters, your own growth, your own peace, and your own journey, you free yourself from unnecessary negativity. When you care too much about opinions, you lose yourself. You start making decisions based on what others will think rather than what feels right to you. You hesitate to take risks because you fear judgment. You suppress your true thoughts and feelings to avoid criticism. You hold yourself back from opportunities because you're worried about failing in front of others. This is how people end up living a life that isn't even their own. They follow a path that pleases others but leaves them unfulfilled. They prioritize acceptance over authenticity, and in the end they realize that no matter how much they tried to please everyone, they still weren't truly happy. Think about how many dreams have been abandoned because of fear of judgment, how many businesses were never started, how many ideas were never pursued, how many goals were never reached, all because someone was afraid of what others would think if they failed. But failure is part of success. The people who achieve great things in life are the ones who stop seeking approval and start taking action. They don't care if people doubt them. They don't care if others criticize them. They understand that opinions don't pay bills. Opinions don't create success. And opinions don't determine their worth.